opens the game with pawn to d4. Knight comes out to f6 and now g3 played. Fabi pauses a bit. He can go for Queen's Gambit positions, but he goes for the King's Indian setup. Wow, that's amazing. Fabi going for this King's Indian shows that he is out for the blood. Gukesh castles here. And now pawn to d6. So pure King's Indian fianchetto variation by white. Supposedly very solid. Gives white a very nice positional structure. Pawn to c6 played by Fabi. And Gukesh brings his knight out to c3 and bishop goes to f5. Knight to e1 preparing the move e4. He goes e5. And now the best move is to push the pawn forward with d5 is what Gukesh does. Takes, pawn takes. And now this bishop on g7 is a bit blocked here. And black goes a5, wants to play knight a6 to c5, keeping this diagonal open, not developing the knight on d7. Pawn to e4, the bishop comes forward, provokes f3 and now goes back and bishop comes to e3. He jumps in with his knight to a6 and Gukesh moves his knight to d3, controlling the c5 square. I believe b6 should be a nice move to put the knight on c5. White is slightly better here, a4 should be good. Gukesh goes pawn to b3. A useful move. Knight jumps to c5 and he goes queen e2. Maybe knight b2 would have been much better. He goes queen e2. And now bishop to c8, wants to get the bishop out from a6, pinning the knight there. One idea is to play knight a4, knight b5 and a4 in the position. But the problem is that the b3 pawn is very weak. So bishop a6, a great move by Fabi, who's slowly and steadily taking over the initiative. Gukesh's pieces look a bit clumsy. Knight takes, pawn takes, and he goes a4. Beautiful move, knight e8. And he's going knight c7 and putting even more pressure here. Look at Gukesh's time. He's down to 5 minutes 39 seconds. Fabi has 9 minutes 13 seconds. He goes bishop d2. And that was a very long thing. Gukesh down to 2 minutes 53 seconds. He's trying to put pressure on the pawn on a5. Queen b6. Rook quickly jumps in to c1. And now knight to c7. He goes bishop f1, defending this. So Gukesh making few of his moves quickly so that he has 3 minutes left on the clock. h5 by Caruana. And maybe one of the plans can be king h7 and bishop h6, trading off the bishop on d2. Pawn moves to h4. And Fabi now goes f5. A very good move. Trying to force white to take and then eventually opening up this diagonal. Gukesh does take it. He takes f5. And you can take with the g pawn, you can take with the rook. Both look good. Caruana takes back with the pawn. And now Gukesh has to be slightly careful about these attacks, but he's like, you can do it, you can do what you want, I'm putting my bishop on g5. Well, prudent would be to just go slowly and develop the attack here. Rook a2 played. And black's position still definitely for choice. I mean, taking on d5 is a bit risky because of the pin here, but f4 played by Caruana. And this is not the best move. This rook on a2 can actually swing over. You can see g takes f4, e takes f4, and now after moving the queen away, the rook will swing over to g2. This is exactly what Gukesh does. He goes queen to c4. Now Fabi moves his king away to h8. The position is still even. But the pressure is mounting, and also time is running low for Gukesh. He's down to 53 seconds. 2 minutes 54 seconds for Caruana. Rook on g2. Played. He plays rook f5, and this is a big mistake here. He should have done taking on b5 or bishop c8, but rook f5. He misses that. Gukesh can go bishop d3, which is an insanely strong move. Gukesh takes his time, sees that this is quite a critical moment in this game, and finds bishop d3 with just 32 seconds on the clock. He attacks the rook. If the rook goes back, it will get really dangerous. So taking on d5 is what Fabi put his rook for here on f5 to take this pawn. But now, let's see what Gukesh does. A very interesting piece sacrifice lies somewhere in this position. Not so sure if it's this one or not. And Gukesh goes king h1 with just 9 seconds left on the clock. He presses it, gets 5 more seconds, 14 seconds. It's amazing to see Gukesh's confidence on himself to take so much time for a move. Bishop b7, putting pressure on this long diagonal. And he goes rook g1. He plays his rook to g1, and yeah, this is super difficult. The bishop is quite well placed. It's not very helpful because take, rook e3 does not work because of just moving the queen away. He plays knight b5 and bishop f6. What a move by Gukesh. Incredible move. Fabiano has 52 seconds, but look at this. If you take on f6, I take on f4, and it's checkmate here. Unstoppable mate. This is. And you can't do anything. Like for example, you move your knight, I just take on g7. So a brilliant move here by Gukesh. Fabi takes the bishop, queen f4, now threatening a mate on h6. Bishop g7 met with rook g7. You go bishop g5. Rook takes g5, taken by Gukesh. And Caruana is busted here. He goes queen d8. But here's the finishing stroke. Rook g8 check. If you take here, queen h6 is checkmate. Caruana resigns. Gukesh scores his second win against Fabiano in this tournament. Well,